Hey, Eric.
Hey, John. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
Doing all right. Yeah.
Yeah? Perhaps I should say I'm doing better. I'm definitely still recovering. And
Yeah.
the slope is very low. The slope
As long
of recovery.
as it's positive.
It is positive, I'm pretty sure. But I'm still coughing a ton, especially when I talk. So, unfortunately. Oh my gosh. I am just so tired. I took another nap tonight. I know I jokingly said that to you earlier. I'm like, I'll be okay so long as I get a nap. But no. I came in at 6 o'clock or something like that, sat on the couch, and my wife looked at me and I'm like, I'm going to take a nap. She's like, it's pretty late. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then we just, sorry, one other little thing. So I'm going to go camping this next weekend with my brother up at the Kite Festival up in Washington.
Right.
And we put that yurt up there, and nobody slept in the yurt yet, which is ironic because it's been up for almost a year. But we take our trailer up and we sleep in the trailer. But that we're going to sleep in the yurt, or they're going to sleep in the yurt this weekend. But I needed some plywood. So my pre-podcast rush, get the errand done, was to go into Lowe's, grab 3 sheets of plywood, and have them cut them on the panel cutter.
Right.
Because we had the dimensions.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's just, hypothetically, it would just be rip.
You used the word hypothetically.
Well, the guy said, he was nice. He was like, this is the first time I've used this tool. And at one point in there, I'm like, please don't reach underneath there while it's running. I'm like, the last thing I want to see is Mr. Lowe's guy's finger flying off. I'm like, dude. Anyway. It had to be a little bit of adjusted. He was adjusting it by banging on it with. Anyway, what it was there's a riving knife behind the blade, and it needs to be aligned with the blade, and evidently it wasn't. I didn't realize that was what he was trying to adjust, but regardless, this is just good life advice. Never reach underneath a spinning saw blade.
Yeah.
Most of us are born with 10 fingers. I'm a fan of keeping them. So,
hence the saw stop.
Hence the saw stop, right? Yes, a saw stop is an expensive saw compared to other table saws, but it's cheaper than a single emergency room visit, let alone the consequences, lifelong consequences. So, anyway, I don't know why I jumped straight to that, but I guess it's on my mind because we were just there. And then, the bunk beds that this plywood needs to go into, they're 75 inches.
Okay.
I swear that he measured it to 7. I mean, I had to help him measure a little bit, but it was one of those situations where I was like, I could totally just do this, and it would be better. It would be both safer. And I'm pretty sure he measured to 75 inches, which is what I needed the length to be. But when we carried the panels out to the truck, which has a 6-foot bed, hypothetically a 6-foot bed, they fit easily inside the 6-foot bed. So in my mind, 75 inches is 3 inches longer than 6 feet.
I'm going to go with correct.
And yet they fit. So they are sitting out in the back of the pickup. And tomorrow, when I have a little more patience and a little more humor, I will take a tape measure out and see if they were measured correctly or not. And regardless, I'm now planning on taking a circular saw and a tape measure to camping with me tomorrow, just in case.
Yeah.
So
okay,
anyway, there's my humor for the night.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. Along those lines, we're on, I don't know how many weeks, but we're into the 3rd month of no kitchen.
You're not day 73, hour 14.
Getting close. And the plumber was supposed to show up today, which is, I think I mentioned before, we've been washing dishes in the bathtub because, pre-rinsing as much as we can into the garbage cans and the food waste. And but I still need to wash. And so, and we're very excited because the plumber was supposed to come out and hook up all the plumbing, which included the dishwasher. So we could, even though the kitchen wouldn't be done, at least we would have a dishwasher.
You could run the dishwasher.
And unfortunately, and I feel bad for the plumber, but apparently he's come down with COVID. And so that is now pushed yet another week, at least, before, we're trying to see if we can find another plumber at really short notice, but it's
low probability.
At this point, it was the original desire was, let's have this done before my wife's birthday. Then it was, how about, because this is in early August, and then it was, how about before our anniversary, which is the middle of August, and now it's before school starts. So, but that is not happening. So.
Wait, even the school starts? Oh, yeah. You think this puts the even before school starts in jeopardy?
Yeah, because school starts in 2 weeks. So,
yeah.
Right? Or 3 weeks. No, 2 weeks. It's 2 full weeks left.
Is that all?
Well, 3 weeks, I guess, technically from today, except for freshmen. Freshmen start on the Tuesday. Everybody else starts on the Wednesday. After Labor Day.
Huh.
And this is the 17th. So yeah.
Okay.
3 weeks. So 3 weeks out still. But
that's not very long.
Nope. One fun thing I did this weekend was my boy and I went out to the St. John's Bridge in Portland. It's kind of northwest Portland. And we hiked across it. We parked on one end. And then we hiked across it, and he took a bunch of pictures. So he's been kind of getting into photography.
It's a very photogenic bridge. Can a bridge be photogenic?
Yes.
Okay.
This one was. This one is. This is not a something fun, but it was kind of cool, and I thought I would read a few fun facts about the St. John Bridge. It was built in 1931, so it started construction right a month before the big stock market crash in 1929. So not a good time to be building things. But the bridge was built and started in 29, finished in 31, and came in $1 million under budget.
What?
Which, amazing for a public works project. It, at the time, had the highest clearance in the nation. It was the longest prefabricated steel cable rope strands. It had the tallest steel frame piers of reinforced concrete, 400 feet tall.
Whoa.
And it was the first application of aviation clearance lights to towers. So it was so tall that it was the first, at the time, it was the first application of aviation clearance lights that they put at the very top. So airplanes didn't hit it.
So cool.
And it was the longest suspension span west of Detroit, Michigan in 1931. So fun stuff. Anyway, so it's a very cool bridge. It's painted green. Anyways, it was a lot of fun. You don't realize how high up it is until you're actually on foot walking across it. Driving across it, you don't get the sensation, but when you're walking across it and there's a 200 plus foot drop, inches from your left or your right, it's like, I'm a ways up here.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
That's cool.
So he got some great pictures going north towards Mount Hood, or east towards Mount Hood and downtown Portland, and that was my fun thing I did this weekend.
That is totally cool. I didn't know those facts. I've definitely seen the bridge. I'm not even sure I've ever driven over it, to be honest.
That's kind of fun. It's nothing like the Astoria Bridge, which I think you probably you'll be going over soon.
I drive over that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll drive over it tomorrow night, assuming I'm not too late. And yes, that's very tall.
Yeah.
So one other kind of minor fun thing that I'm a little, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I've started the process of collecting my honey. So I went out and I put the escape boards on the colonies, which are sort of these, kind of, I've probably mentioned them before, but they're like bee bee diodes are the way to think of it. They want they let the bees out, but the bees don't generally find their way back in. So it's kind of like a little maze. So the bees go out, like you put it underneath the honey supers, and then as the bees leave, they go down to the bottom, out a hole, and then in order to actually get out, they have to walk down these sort of paths. But then when the bees try to get in, they can smell that there's honey and stuff up there. They try to get up there. They aren't. They don't. It takes a while for them to learn. You can't leave them on for like weeks, but you can leave them on for a couple days. But they don't learn that they have to actually go off to the side and then around, in order to get up into the supers. So
okay.
Basically, my goal of putting them on and leaving them on for like a day or two is sort of let the bees naturally get out of the honey supers, and then I could just go out and pick them up and carry them off. That's the goal. And so the bee escapes are on, and I have 7 supers, 6 of which are pretty darn full. And that the 7th is maybe a third full, I think.
So I think originally you were like crossing your fingers and toes for 100 pounds, or was it 20 pound? No, it was 100. I thought it was 100 pounds.
I think I said I would be happy with 50.
Okay.
I think, what is this? I think I can plan on probably 25 or 30 pounds per super. So they're not totally full, but even call it 4 full supers would be 120 pounds. Yeah, I think I'm going to get 100 pounds easy.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. But the problem is that so, I mean, I was on vacation, then I had COVID. I was like, I just didn't even know what to, like, I haven't been worrying about the honey. Other than I checked it when we got back from vacation, just to sort of make sure they were okay. The honey house is completely reserved all through the month of September, August and September. So I'm going to have to go on to the forum and beg, like, I just need 2 hours. Anyway, I'm sure I'll figure out a way, but my plan at the moment is just in a couple days, I guess probably when we come back from camping on Sunday, assuming I'm back early enough, I'll go out and I'll just take all the supers off and just bring them into the house and leave them in the house for they can sit for, it doesn't even matter, they can sit for a very long
honey lasts a long time. Didn't they find honey in like one of the Egyptian pyramids and it was still good or something
exactly.
Like that?
Yeah, honey does not go bad. So as far as we're aware, so long as the water moisture content is under, I hear different numbers, but like 19, 20, and really you want it like good honey is under 18%.
Okay.
So, which reminds me, I got to find my hygrometer. Anyway, but yeah, it's cool. I'm excited. It's coming.
And do you have any plans for the honey? Like you made mead the one year. Any fancy plans or just
I don't.
Straight up honey storage?
I don't have plans.
Okay.
It is not possible for our family to use that much honey. So I will have to figure out a way to, quote, dispose of it, where dispose of it is not dumping it down the sink or anything like that. It's, friends. So I can set you up. You want 20 pounds of honey?
As soon as my kitchen is done, I plan to do some fun. I plan to have some cooking adventures. Maybe I will try to find some.
You're gonna have a
honey-heavy recipes.
There you go. There's a lot of cool, good honey recipes. Yeah. So, yes. Well, I look forward to you becoming, kitchen rich again, like having a kitchen, a kitchen present,
having a kitchen.
And having a dishwasher.
Yeah.
Be nice.
Months from now, someone will be taking a bath and broccoli will be floating up. What?
Yuck.
All right. On that note.
Totally. All right. What do you got? I didn't put anything in follow up tonight.
Yeah. I didn't see anything either. So when I first saw this article, I thought we had talked about this, but maybe we talked about something very similar. But
okay,
the dates are from this last week. So 2 companies, Twilio and Cloudflare, which Twilio does
Voice.
SMS and two-factor authentication communication services. Well, both Twilio and Cloudflare were targeted with a phishing attack, which the threat actor, which it appears was a very advanced threat actor, had possession of home phone numbers, not just employees' home phone numbers, but home phone numbers of employees' families as well.
Okay.
And they don't know where they got those from.
Data aggregator of some sort.
Something. But the attack basically was Twilio had the attack. They announced the attack. So there's the article we'll link to is a Ars Technica link, and you can link directly to Twilio's blog. They explain everything that happened from their side. And a couple of days after Twilio's disclosure, Cloudflare also published a link and actually said, and 3 of our employees fell for the scam. So it was a phishing scam.
Okay.
And I'll get back to that. But so the attackers had obtained the home and work phone numbers for employees and family members, and then they sent text messages that were disguised to appear as official company communications. So it wasn't, random things. It was, this is coming from the company. You have my employee number and my home phone number. And they made false claims such as changing the employee's schedule, or that the password they used has been compromised. They need to change it, or something has changed, and then gave obviously a link for the employee to click on. And if the employee clicked on the credentials to the fake site, it started downloading a phishing payload. And then once that payload was downloaded, it would install a remote desktop software and then carry on. So in the Cloudflare attack, Cloudflare says that 76 employees, at least that they know of, 76 employees received a message all within about a minute.
Whoa.
And it came from a variety of different phone numbers, all belonging to T-Mobile. And the domain used in the attack had only been registered 40 minutes prior to the attack.
Okay.
And so in that, it says, the note here says that it thwarting domain protection Cloudflare uses to ferret out imposter sites. So Cloudflare or Twilio says, because they had something similar, based on these factors, from what we saw, we believe the threat actor is very well organized, sophisticated. We don't know, we haven't identified who they are. We don't know exactly what they were looking for. Cloudflare gave a similar response, the sophisticated attack targeting employees and systems in such a way that we believe most organizations would likely be breached. Given that the attacker is targeting multiple organizations, we wanted to share a rundown of exactly what we saw in order to help other companies recognize and mitigate this attack. And so both Twilio and Cloudflare said, hey, we don't know how they obtained the numbers, but Cloudflare mentions that despite 3 of their employees actually falling for the scam and clicking the link, because Cloudflare uses MFA for access to things,
and
that thwarted hardware keys,
not a SMS.
Hardware security keys, not exactly, not the SMS from Twilio to get into cloud, the SMS MFA, but a hardware MFA. Nothing happened on their side on the inside, but they mention, had we relied on one-time passwords sent by text message or from an authentication app, they might have, had a different outcome. So I thought this was very well written. I appreciate when companies just kind of say, hey, look, this happens to everybody. Here's how it happened to us. Watch out for these kind of things. I like Cloudflare and Twilio's kind of disclosure and description of how, what, why, when stuff happened.
Yeah, nice. So let's see. So I brought a article about the John Deere hack that was demonstrated at DEF CON this past weekend. Some, I guess, fun things about this. I actually was down in Vegas just for some meetings, but I didn't attend Black Hat or DEF CON, and I didn't even see friends. I knew there were so many people I knew that were in in town, but I just didn't have any time, and I was tired and getting over being sick.
Yeah.
So, I just went to bed. But and this one could maybe technically semi be follow up, because we've talked about John Deere and their lack of support for right to repair a couple of times. I actually went back and to look and say, hey, when did we talk about this? At least about the right to repair, we talked about it in episode 9, like way back at the beginning. And then again in episode 41, and then in the 200s we did something else about Deere, but that was where Deere showed up in the RSS feed. But yeah, I think episode 41 to episode 245 is a little long for follow up. So anyway, so what was this? So this was a researcher named Nom de Guerre, whatever that's called, Sick Codes. And his quote, his awesome presentation at DEF CON 30 this weekend. So the link I'm going to put in here, there were some other links, including a Wired article. But Wired evidently is telling me that I can't have another free article this month, although I don't remember what other article I read from Wired. So you're going to get a link to Pluralistic here. But so here's the quote. Deere has repeatedly told state and federal lawmakers and regulators that farmers can't be trusted to repair or modify their own tractors. This is obviously nonsense. Indeed, for decades, Deere product development consisted of sending engineers out to document the improvements farmers had made to their tractors so the company could copy them. Anyway, and there's a gazillion links in here, because this is kind of like a Twitter thread in essay form. But some other things about this. So he discovered that the system was designed to send an extraordinary amount of data to John Deere. Once he brought the control unit online, it tried to exfiltrate 1.5 gigabytes worth of data.
Wow.
And here's the other quote. Once he also discovered as soon as he was able to conjure up a terminal, he had root access to the system. As Kyle points out, so the Kyle referenced in the article is Kyle Weens from iFixit. But it says, quote, as Kyle points out, this entire system ran on deprecated, unpatched, elderly GNU Linux software and Windows CE, an operating system that was end-of-lifed in 2018, and which was so bad that people forced to use it typically called it Wince for WinCE. It says, Sick Codes discovered all kinds of security worst practices in John Deere's security, even in the parts of its security that were intended to secure the company's profits from its own customers' best interests. Cory Doctorow doesn't really hold back in his sarcasm.
Yeah, it's clear what his opinion is.
Yeah. For example, at one point, Sick Codes put the control unit into maintenance mode by repeatedly rebooting it, so it refused to allow him to do anything until he brought it to a dealer. He discovered all it took to convince the computer he was a dealer was to create an empty text file on the hard drive, whose file was something like IamAdealer.txt. And then he says, I didn't write down the exact file name, but that's not far off. Another revelation, the company made extensive use of free open source software, but seems to be gravely out of compliance with the license terms, which is ironic since they claim that the reason that farmers don't own the tractors they buy is for copyright. Anyway, so there's more in that vein.
Yeah.
But here's kind of the end of this is that in reality, the company itself is a dumpster fire of information security worst practices whose unpatched, badly configured, out-of-date tractors are a bonanza of vulnerabilities and unforced errors. What's more, the company, which claims to be a staunch defenders of copyright, use their copyright locks to hide the fact they are committing serious breaches of software copyright. In serious information security circles, it's widely understood that there is no security in obscurity.
Not a good look, Deere.
So, there was more. in there, but yeah. But
not
there you go.
Good look.
There you go. I didn't see if there was a video of this. I really should have probably looked.
Oh, the presentation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would have been fun, or that would be fun, but
yeah,
not generally. Anyway, so there you go. I thought that was funny. Slash fun, slash good, and just on the like my neighbors, the guy who's like he won't buy a tractor newer than the last 20 years because then he can't fix it, and
right.
So I think I've mentioned my admiration for how he manages to like have, I don't know how many tractors he has, but yeah, he's got a tractor for every tool. That way he doesn't have to put on and off
That's right.
different tools on the different tractors. He just hops down off one tractor and hops onto another. Anyway.
All right. Well, I have a farm related something fun.
What? All right. Hit me up.
A farm related something fun. So, John, you like bacon, right?
I actually very much like bacon. Yes. I paid $4 to have bacon added to my burger on Monday. Yes.
In the past, I have mentioned about Beyond Foods and Impossible Foods. They're Burger King, you can get the Impossible Whopper.
I still have not tried an Impossible Whopper.
Carl's Jr., you can get the Beyond Famous Star.
Okay.
Now coming to a store near you, bacon, vegan bacon.
Fake bacon.
Fake bacon. And this one, they say, I was more fast. I mean, I think I've seen fake bacon, or there is fake stuff.
I've had this even one, like turkey bacon, and like it is.
Yeah.
Like, its relationship to bacon is far more distant than Totino's relationship to pizza.
There's the title. It's too long, though.
Sorry.
Anyway, so this one I thought was fascinating because this is a vertical farm that is going to grow 3 million pounds of mycelium for fungi-based bacon. So this is bacon
mushrooms.
made out of mushrooms.
I like the notion of mushrooms.
Right. So there is now a company that is growing this. But what's fascinating about how they do this is they grow the fungus in basically bacon form, slabs. So they kind of trick the bacon as it grows, and it's the root of the bacon that grows together, and so how they're growing it, how it hangs as they grow it, they can grow a slab of bacon, a nice big slab of bacon, in 12 days. So from dirt,
I need pictures,
or wood chips and other things, they plant. This company, My Forest Foods, plans to grow 3 million pounds of mycelium. That's the root, the stem, the root of the mushroom, a year, enough for 1 million pounds of imitation bacon. And it starts in these tall silos, not similar to like grain silos, where they prepared this slurry of moist wood chips.
Yeah.
And then that is transferred into stacks of trays. And then it just kind of grows the mycelium on it. But instead of LED lights, it's, humid and dark, because that's what mushrooms like, right?
Yeah.
So 12 days after depositing these mushroom cells on these wood chip substrate stuff, the mycelia are ready to be harvested, and they grow in blocks. So they're run through these slicers that yield strips about the same size and shape of bacon. So they basically trick the mushrooms to form these sheets of mushroom flesh. So rather than forming a mushroom and then blending it up and doing that, they get the result is a 50-foot long, 4-foot wide, 2-inch thick slab of mushroom meat.
Wait. Give me those dimensions again. 50 feet long.
50 feet long, 4 feet wide, 2-inch thick.
Holy
slab
moly.
of mushroom meat. Yeah, in 12 days. And then similar to other things, they add salt and sugar, coconut oil, beet juice for your red coloring, and liquid smoke. And voila, you have fake bacon, mushroom bacon. And the reporter who sampled the final product called it, quote, delicious, if not exactly like the real deal. And another writer said the components of bacon were all there. It was crispy, smoky, umami flavored with a slightly fleshy texture that was reminiscent of meat. I am intrigued by this.
Reminiscent of meat.
Yes.
Okay.
I am intrigued by this fake bacon.
Okay.
Now.
I'm willing to give it an honest try.
So if I figure out how to get my hands on some.
Well, I mean, the fact that I say that I'm claim that about the Impossible Burger too, and I have not done it for 2 years or however long it's been. Whenever we go to lunch or I'm in a position where I'm like, I guess I could try that. I'm mostly like, but I really want like just a burger or whatever else I need to just buckle down and be like, no, your goal, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to eat something reminiscent of meat.
I still think the Impossible Whopper is the best one, fake meat one out there that tastes close enough to a real Whopper that you're like, anyways.
Right. Well,
but
the next time we're going to go to lunch.
Side note, I went to
and we do that.
Well, here's the problem with.
Oh,
I tried to run down to the Burger King earlier this week, and their lobby is closed due to staff shortages, but you can go through the drive-thru. So,
well,
if we were to try to actually go to lunch and get an Impossible Whopper, we'd have to sit outside.
And it is too hot to sit outside.
Right now, yes. Anyway, so there's my something fun.
Okay. All right. I threw a link in there for my something fun. Did you go to there yet?
I just clicked on it. What am I looking at?
So actually take off the FAQ on the link and just go to gpsjam.org.
Okay.
So it says that this is the first, maybe only, real-time visualization of GPS jamming around the world. And it's the reason I'll probably link to the FAQ in the podcast notes is that that's actually where I'll go read a few things from. But also, it gives, information about where the data is coming from. So this is basically a visualization of the data from planes around the world that are emitting radio signals. One bit of the common data is how accurate their GPS receivers are. And anyway, if you're looking at the globe at the moment, it's kind of a cool visualization.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm looking at, though.
You can rotate the globes.
I didn't know GPS didn't cover the entire planet, or why it covers one area but not its neighbor to the left or right.
It depends on where there are planes where there are receivers that are receiving the radio signals sent by the planes that they're able to send. And so, there's a huge big spot over Ukraine. I'm sure that's a no-fly zone at the moment.
Gotcha.
There's a ton of and in the FAQ he says, so is this data? It's called GPS Jam. So this is all GPS data, and he's like, no, mostly, but there's different ways that planes give their get their location data. Most of it's GPS. And so it's all jamming. He's like, well, no, most of the time, it's believed that, the issues with GPS accuracy are due to, localized jamming. He's like, and in the thing, that's why he's like, military testing jamming. That's why a lot of places in the Southwest United States have issues. And if you look in the US, there's lots of places in New Mexico and a little bit down in Texas that have yellow and red hexagons. But anyway, in the fact though, so first of all, the data comes from ADS-B Exchange. So it says, where does this data come from? Many aircraft broadcast digital radio messages, ADS-B, that contain information about their GPS accuracy. ADS-B Exchange is a network of thousands of enthusiasts. So this reminds me of your, what was it, Pi Shake or Weather Underground, that kind of thing. ADS-B Exchange is a network of thousands of enthusiasts who receive those signals. I use the ADS-B Exchange API to collect and process the data and then build maps from it. And then, anyway, in the fact that says, does red and yellow mean there's jamming? No. Red and yellow hexes show where there's a significant number of aircraft reporting low navigation accuracy. This often seems to be in regions where it's known or suspected that GPS jamming is occurring, but the data doesn't tell what's causing the low accuracy. So anyway, there's other things. It's called GPS jam, but it's not necessarily GPS, and it might not be jamming. And he's like, yeah, I think that's right. I think gpsjam.org sounds better than, potential navigation system interference.org. So, but anyway, I thought this was kind of cool. It's a open data source, and from flight, open flight trackers, and an interesting aggregation and visualization. So anyway, that's my something fun tonight.
That is kind of fun. It's just fun. Someone takes an idea and says, "Hey, how can we visualize this different?"
Yeah.
And I don't know what it says about me, but when I saw GPS jam, the first thing I thought of was not jamming, but something that I would put on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich jam. So
sorry, dude.
I must be hungry.
You must be hungry. Hey, so speaking of that, I'll have to, if you're interested, I can give you, maybe once your kitchen's back, we picked, but then my wife made Loganberry. I think they're called Loganberry. Loganberry jam. Loganberry. It's a cross between a blackberry and a raspberry.
Yes.
And
I do like Loganberries.
It is delicious. It is delicious. So,
all right. I'm looking forward to a kitchen.
Yeah. And I was out. We were kind of watering the trees. Remember those trees out front that my neighbor burned, and then a drunk driver plowed through.
I shouldn't laugh. Sorry.
Yeah, don't laugh. No, so we're I think I said that we had them replaced, and now so my wife and I have to go out and water them every couple days to make sure that they are not dying, just for the first couple years, hopefully. Anyway, blah blah blah. My grapes are looking like there's lots of bunches of grapes out there. They're not ready yet. Not even close. But well, I guess I don't know. I have no intuitive sense for how long it takes to ripen, but they look like bunches of small grapes at the moment, like maybe a third size of like the size grapes should be. So I think another couple weeks, but I'm excited because there's a lot of grapes out there.
All right, dude. I will talk to you later.
My network just failed again. All right.
I can still hear you.
It has failover, but it sends me a message whenever it fails over. I need to fix my network. All right, my friend. Have a good night.
All right, John.
And I will talk to you.
I will talk to you later.
I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.